Live, Laugh, Larceny discusses true petty crimes that may be disturbing to some.
Or could be easy listening to all you psychopaths out there.
All stories are based on actual events, but details may vary.
Listener discretion is not advised.
Live,
Laugh.
Larceny. Welcome to Live, Laugh, Larceny. As mysterious as a rated R movie to a 5-year-old. This is Trevin.
And I'm Amanda. That sounds like a horrible idea. So, Trevin, What is your dreadful dilemma this week?
In the spirit of Halloween,
Love it.
I need to share a TV show that I've come across.
Oh, please do.
This show is the scariest show I've ever seen in my entire life.
What?
I watched it last night and I felt like my heart was going to jump out of my chest the entire time I was watching it. I just felt like I was going to explode from just anxiety of watching this show.
Oh my God. What was it?
I'm going to show you a clip of it.
Can I handle the truth?
It's just going to be the intro music.
Oh my God. Okay.
And then we'll discuss it.
Okay.
Are you ready to play the game? Welcome to Naked Attraction, the dating show that likes to let it all hang out.
Do we see
To
dicks?
start where a good date ends. Naked.
You
Want to see
do?
a little bit more?
Oh my God! I did not know you saw flopping dicks. I thought this was going to be a torture show. Was it for you?
So this was a torture show for me. I had briefly heard about it while I was on vacation, and apparently it's been a show in the UK for a while. A lot of Americans are freaking out about it, and I was like, this just sounds so fake. It doesn't sound like a real thing.
I thought it was fake.
It's absolute madness. So this show is called Naked Attraction.
Whew.
If nobody's ever heard about it, it's what they call dating in reverse. So it's a dating show. It's one of those ones, it takes place on a stage, although I'm sure there's no actual audience. One person goes up, and they have a bunch of colored cubes in front of them. I think there's 5 or 6. And they start deciding who they're going to vote off based on their naked body.
Do they start at the toes and work their way up?
So,
Or do they start with the genitalia?
the genitalia,
You are out of your mind. They do?
they do.
This is something.
It's crazy. I watched it all night last night.
I have to watch this with Jordan immediately.
I was gonna say
when
if-
the kids go to sleep, of course.
If you wanted to, Emily and I would watch one episode with you before you leave. Because it seems like one of those things where it's nice to have somebody around for.
I am freaking the fuck out.
So the first round, they lift the box up and you see just feet to waist. Not only that, they go one by one and look at them and they're just like, oh, do you see something that you like? And the guy be like, a little too hairy for me. And she's like, oh, okay, on to the next. And then they go over to the next one. And then at the very end, they say, okay, which one do you want to vote off? He votes one off. And then you get to see them all the way. And then they decide like, oh man, she was really attractive.
She just had a bush.
Yeah, I kind of judged the book there. And then the next round, it goes from waist up to collarbones. So then you're seeing belly and pubes. And then they do the same thing. They go back through one by one. Do you see something that you like? Oh, and there's also little pieces where it stops and it gives you information about if a guy says that he likes a girl who's not shaved or something, then it shares a fun little fact and tells you about how much of the UK is shaved and how much isn't or something like that.
My mind is blown. You are seeing this firsthand. I literally did not think it was like this at all. I'm not a prude. In my mind, what's allowed on, what was that, Netflix?
Max.
Oh, is it Max? Okay. Still.
And this is a UK show, so do you think America could make an American version?
I don't know.
I don't think our society could handle it.
No, I don't even know how I'm handling it.
I'm not offended by it, but I'm just thinking about the people who would be.
Yeah.
Because when a woman has to be, it goes all different ways.
That's what I was going to ask. Is it just one person looking?
So this is how it goes. They do the tummy and the boobs area. He votes one off again based on just that. They do the whole reveal again. Then the next time they show the face, they vote one off after that. And then they do a thing where you can hear their voice and they answer one question. So then you can see if you're attracted to their voice/personality.
Oh, yeah, because that's what comes after the genitalia.
They said it's dating in reverse. Personality would be what you would lead with, right?
The fuck?
So then after the person has them down to 2, the person who's been voting people off has to come out naked.
I would hope so.
So then they come out naked and have to decide which of the 2 naked people standing out in front of them they want. Then they go on a clothed date.
But what if the naked person doesn't want them?
I haven't ran into that yet.
Oh, okay. Because what if they see them naked, the dater person, and they're like, nah, I'm not really interested in that.
From everything I've seen, everybody's always just happy.
They're interested and happy.
Yeah. They don't seem as shut off as American people in this show.
Wow. Okay.
That maybe just shows my ignorance.
I can't think of anything more vulnerable than just showing someone my genitalia before they even got to know me.
Yeah.
That is like the most vulnerable thing I could ever think of. And now it's on a reality show for us all to watch?
Yes.
That's a lot to process. Unless, I don't know. Clearly, the contestants think they can handle it, I guess.
A lot of them do come away saying like, oh, it was a very liberating experience.
That is wild. I have to watch this.
But when they vote people off, you have to give a reason. And it just...
Oh, they do? They're like, that nipple coloration is just not my flavor.
Yeah. Or they'll say something like the way her genitals lay may not be that way they want that. And nobody wants to hear that, you know?
See, that's where it's the dark twist. Yes, I'm sure it's liberating, but the judgment?
They're always usually nice.
Yeah.
And then the host is always just like, this is the beautiful girl you weren't able to get. And they're always very body positive, which is great.
Yeah.
But for a person who has extreme body issues, my heart was just going crazy because I was connecting with every single character, male, female, whatever. Like I was so stuck on their personalities because I just couldn't imagine that they were doing anything naked.
Yeah.
And I was just blowing my own mind the whole time watching it, thinking, what if I were in these shoes? That was scarier than watching the new Saw movie for me.
We were just talking about the Saw movie right before we recorded.
Right.
And yeah, this made your heart race more than that.
Yes.
At what point do they say, can you whip out a ruler and measure that schlong? Because I just saw that at the intro.
Literally, that's the first round.
Oh, okay. It's in the first round that they can tell them to do weird things like that?
I don't even know if talking about this show should have a trigger warning. It's so weird to me because I cannot believe this is real. I feel like I'm being punked.
So did this get filmed this year?
This has been out for years. This is a UK show that's been around for years.
I got to research this after the show. This is blowing my mind. You want to know what else is blowing my mind, though, Trevin?
What's that?
My dreadful dilemma this week also has to do with a reality television show.
Oh, that is really weird.
You stepped on my toes this time, okay? Remember the one time I tried to do something historical and I was on your turf? Yeah. Well, at least we don't have the same one in this instance. But yes, you are stepping into my reality TV home.
It's true.
Welcome. But no, mine's drastically different. One of the shows that I recently saw is The Golden-Bachelor. Have you heard about this?
Is this a bachelor, but it's old man?
Yes.
Oh, I just guessed. I've
you
never heard of it.
haven't seen anything about it at all?
Uh-uh.
Oh my God. Okay, so Trevin, this man is an old man. I'm pretty sure he's in his 70s, okay? He's kicking it.
Oh, this sounds like a parody.
No, I thought you were parodying me with this, but this is real. It's The Bachelor for elderly people. I don't know if that's how they're saying it. Sorry, guys. For more mature adults in their golden
Distinguished.
years. That's why they call it this. But the thing that's making it really dreadful, because there's only been...
Are the girls all like 20?
No. Surprisingly, thank you, ABC, for not being total creeps. No. The thing that's dreadful, though, Trevin, is that I'm watching these beautiful, mature women, okay? Stepping out of these limos, walking up, wearing these gowns. And some of them are hotter than I am. Look at this, for example. This woman, Anna, 61.
Oh, mama.
April, 65.
So this is like MILF Island.
Christina, 73. The reason it's been dreadful for me is that I see these women and I'm over here being, how old am I, 32? And I'm like, come on, girl. You can pull it together a little bit better. And that is why I'm kind of dressed like I'm part of the Spice Girls today.
No, I'm loving it. Right when you would come in, Emily was just like, whoa, MILF alert. I was wondering what fancy thing you were going to after this.
I have nowhere to go. I have nowhere to be. I told Jordan maybe we could go to Costco after because this is the first time I've worn these boots.
These boots need some walking.
I need to just dress up for more simple things. And don't get me wrong, I'm going to be chilling in sweatpants most of my time. But on occasion, it's nice. But damn, that is so funny. Both of our dreadful dilemmas were about reality shows.
Reality shows and self-image, sort of.
Self-image. Self-perception. We've never been on a level like that. So we're going to be doing a round of 2 truths and a lie.
I've got 3 wires. Which one do I cut?
I'll give you 2 truths and a lie.
But wait, we don't have time for this. Boy, howdy, are we. And I have got one for you that I'm going to stay on the theme of fall time and spooky season.
Okay.
And I want to do 2 truths and a lie about corn mazes.
Okay.
Do you know a lot about corn mazes? I mean, I know we're Midwestern.
I mean, I've seen them, I've been in them, but do I really know how it's done or any of that? No.
They're fun.
Yeah, they're fine.
Prefer the corn pit. I get it. Here are your statements.
Okay.
Statement 1. The first full-sized corn maze was made in 1993. Statement 2. Today, corn mazes are planted as mazes instead of being cut out of the field. And Statement 3. Children of the Corn was loosely based off a series of murders believed to be caused by a small commune.
Okay. Wow. Those were all drastically different. I'm having a really hard time believing that they started only in 1993, but I could be wrong. I'm going to go with statement A as the lie.
All right. And you were incorrect.
Dang it! Really? I thought that these were like ancient.
Honestly, that was the main fact that I just wanted to get across to everybody. When I saw that, it blew my mind.
Yeah, that's why I'm like, there's no way.
There's no way I'm older than corn mazes.
What?
That makes me feel so old.
And when did Children of the Corn come out? Around the same damn time?
No, Children of the Corn was written in the 70s.
Okay.
So that is the lie. The lie is the Children of the Corn was loosely based off a true story.
Oh.
Children of the Corn was just a short story written by Stephen King back in the late 70s.
And it wasn't about a corn maze. It was just about them living in corn.
Yeah, that was just a town in Nebraska that there was just like a weird little cult led by children.
Oh, with the children.
And so it was just a very rural corn community.
Okay.
So it's like the kids came from the cornfields, not corn mazes.
Okay. Thank you for clarifying.
So then the other truth is that today corn mazes are planted as mazes instead of being cut out of a field.
Smart.
Which I thought that was really cool.
And polite. If you didn't do it like that, you would just be growing all these plants up just to cut a lot of them down.
Yeah. I thought maybe that was possible. Maybe they cut them down and just harvested those.
Oh, maybe too.
I'm coming from mazeadventure.com.
No way. That is so cute.
It looks like a total children's website.
Oh.
I was looking up information on corn mazes, and I'll tell you about 80% of the fact websites are for children.
But you had to go searching for the Children of the Corn lie. That's why.
So, of course, labyrinths and mazes are way older than the 90s. But the first corn maze was done in 1993, created by Earl Beale out of Annville, Pennsylvania.
Aww.
His original design was inspired by his father's work designing mazes for a local amusement park called Noble's Amusement Resort. He wanted to share his experience with others, so he created a large-scale version of the maze at his farm in Pennsylvania. And then also the second truth, it says, while farmers created corn mazes of the past with a plow or tractor, today's mazes use GPS technology to make the intricate designs.
Ooh.
Attractions like Kersey Valley Maze Adventure used GPS-enabled tractors to cut the paths out of grown corn, but today, the maze is planted by GPS. Corn is planted in rows, and when the planter reaches a selected pathway, it stops planting seeds. This technology has transformed the maze industry, and the benefits are it's more eco-friendly for operation, more time for staff to learn the maze routes, more elaborate challenges, and no need for a tractor to plow paths for corn.
Oh my God, I love that. The technology is out of this world.
Yeah.
I'm still caught off guard that this only started in the 90s. It's really, 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 really weird.
Yeah, somebody tried to argue that it was earlier, but the only recorded one is from this person.
Wow, and I love that his name is Earl. Well, those were amazing. And I love how they were fall themed.
When you did it last week, I thought, I can lean more in. We can have almost a Halloween special and a Halloween special too. That's fine.
I love it. The more Halloween, the better.
I couldn't agree more.
I also have a spooky 2 truths and a lie for you. Before I begin, I am going to give a trigger warning to my father, okay?
Oh.
If he's listening, Papa Dennis, as you refer to him, I'm going to be doing 2 truths and a lie about spiders.
Ooh, yeah, we do need that. We did a Fur Baby Friday, remember?
Yes!
And we did spiders.
Uh-huh.
They had asked, hey, is it okay if we do spiders? And I said, there's no rule book. We have fun here.
Yeah.
I posted it, and so many people were like, where's my trigger warning? How dare you? That's against the rules.
It's a big fear.
So from now on.
Yeah, I'm warning you people because I know that's my dad's biggest fear, and he listens. So, statement number 1. The biggest species of spider can grow up to 12 inches wide. Statement 2. Male red widow spiders are known to force feed themselves to their female partners. And statement 3. A common defense mechanism for tarantulas is to throw their own feces at predators.
I've got strong tarantula energy.
Do you?
Yeah, if that's true, ooh. I'm going to say that one's true. I'll go with statement 1 as the lie.
Okay. And you are incorrect as well, Trevin.
Well, damn.
We're still on the same wavelength of being a loser, I guess.
Sweet.
So, statement 1 is a fact. The biggest species of spider is the Goliath bird eater, which can be up to 12 inches wide. It lives in rainforests and swamps in the northern portion of South America. A ruler, bro. A ruler. I'll show you a picture later. Statement number 2 is also a fact. These red widow male spiders are wild, okay? Apparently, the males will force feed themselves to their female partner by placing themselves into the female's mandibles. They are also known to do a thing where if she spits him out, like if the female one tries to spit him out, he'll just keep putting himself into her mandibles until she eventually eats him.
Why?
I don't know.
Is this love?
Like it can't be that bad. Oh, I don't know, but it's wild.
It's like, I'll give you everything.
How romantic. So number 3 is the lie. New World tarantulas are capable of flinging off tiny, irritating hairs, so they don't throw their feces. I'm sorry. Instead, they throw off tiny, irritating hairs known as urticating hairs, I think is how you say it. These are to deter potential predators, similar to a porcupine using its quills in defense.
That's kind of cool, though.
I know. It's more sanitary than throwing feces, so I'll take it.
But with it being our show, that sounds petty. Like maybe this one's got to be true. So that was a good one.
We both got each other.
Yeah, for real.
Good job, us. You know what else is a great thing, though, Trevin?
No spiders.
Ads.
Yeehaw. And we are back. And that is my week to go first.
Yay. I love it when you go first. I'm sorry.
You know, sometimes I like going first too.
Do you?
So I am continuing my trilogy of terror with my second spooky story of this year.
I can't wait.
Now, this one was the one I was almost going to do for Halloween last year, but I didn't because I thought I didn't have a good enough vision for it first.
Okay.
And I think part of me is also kind of scared of the challenge. So I'm going to give a little trigger warning from my own story.
Oh my God.
My story will do with dead things.
Okay.
And some of the things that happens could maybe offend some people, but it's not my choice of how it worked.
Oh my God. I am so scared and so intrigued.
Also, another warning, I will be changing some names in this story to not have anything connected to the fake part of this to one of the victims.
Oh.
Just because It has to do with the memory of a person.
Okay. Wow, Trevin, this is saucy.
This is another reason why I waited a year on doing it. At the very end, when I do the recap, I'll use all the real names to give the full true story.
Okay.
Because I don't want anything getting twisted.
Don't get it twisted, folks.
Yes.
He'll tell the truth at the end and explain himself.
So enjoy the most built-up story I've ever done.
I know. I'm like, Jesus.
And here we go. There are a lot of unknowns in the world. From the beauty found within the female gaze to how light bulbs work. There are some things that are just too magical or scientific to explain, especially if you're like me and science talk intimidates you. Of all these unsolved mysteries, there is one that proves to be the most difficult to research and find answers. Family. Now, I'm not talking about why your dad believes the president is the Antichrist, or how grandma makes bacon grease soup and swears it's good for you.
This will make you big and strong.
Obviously, no answers can be found within those beliefs. I'm talking more about how our parents and ancestors are behind closed doors. In most common instances, we only know our parent, guardian, or grandparent as the roles that we are assigned at birth. No matter how much leveling, advice, or reminiscing that guardian does, they are still speaking to you from the standpoint of a role model. A lot of times, the advice given or story told are narrated from the perspective of someone who knows better. Even from one adult parent to a younger adult child, the story is told with a lot of caution, attempting to save face for the parent and still give some kind of positive guidance in the process. Imagine this. Back in the 80s, your dad had the night of his life. He walked into a shady club he'd never been in, wearing his best pair of parachute pants.
This must be the place.
And any drink or drug offered his way, he took without question. He made out with women that weren't your mother. And when some random person requested disco, he let loose and did the hustle, even though he always claimed to hate that genre of music.
I feel so fucking free.
The next morning, your uncle found your dad asleep in a garbage can, where he pulled him out and brought him home to be cleaned up.
You shit your pants.
Now this would be a totally fine story. We've all had nights like this. And when the story is retold to you, the child, the way in which the story is told is different. When I was younger, I went to a bar that I had never heard of. Don't ever go to some place that you don't know or trust. I drank more than I should have, until your uncle helped pull me out of a dark place.
What are you doing in the trash?
Sure, I had fun, but I could have died. Don't ever do the things I did. I had a blast, but don't do it. You see, the relationship between a guardian and a dependent is very complicated. The guardian wants to bestow useful information, keep their legacy intact, and not give their child any bad ideas along the way. The child, on the other hand, looks up to their parents, conveniently overlooks their flaws, and thinks they always have the right answers. And this is where it all gets very tricky. Whether your parents were an unreliable narrator, or you were too naive to read between the lines, our image of the people they used to be is an amalgamation of many factors keeping us from the truth. How well do we really know the people who helped raise us? What secrets lie just above our branch on the family tree? And are dark forces hereditary? For the second chapter of my trilogy of terror, we are going to meet a woman who's asking herself these very same questions, and the answers found may be stranger than fiction. Church bells ring in the distance as the Fremont family huddle around an open grave. A cool breeze from the east blows through the rows of black-clad mourners, pressing gently upon their formal funeral attire. "The Lord is my shepherd," the priest begins to speak, standing at the head of a closed casket. As the holy man went on with the traditional Psalm 23 verse, Harriet scanned the crowd. Uncle Roger was holding his children tight. One nut Tony blew his nose directly into his suit's breast pocket, and Harriet's dad stood stoic and unfazed.
Men don't cry.
Harriet couldn't imagine what this must have been like for her dad. To Harriet, she was laying her grandfather to rest, but this was her dad's dad. Still though, he kept his composure and showed no weakness to the rest of the family. "Your grandfather was a good man," Aunt Dorothy whispered over to Harriet. "Although a little mysterious, he really made the Fremont name something to be proud of carrying." Harriet hugged her aunt as the scene jumped forward in time. That evening, Harriet and her mother sat in the upstairs of her grandfather's home, going through his belongings. Stacks of photo albums and old newspapers towered around the office. "You know, there's something so strange about this," Harriet said to her mother. "I've seen these photos 1,000 times, but they look different to me now, knowing that he's gone." Her mother nodded as she lifted up an old newspaper. "Your grandpa sure loves animals," she spoke up. "I don't think there was any species of farm critter that he didn't win a blue ribbon at the state fair with. He just had this connection to them." The rest of the night went on with the two women compiling the possessions of Grandpa Fremont. The more Harriet helped her mom, the more she began to get a new understanding about her grandfather. As a child, she viewed Grandpa Fremont as just a gruff farmer who didn't know how to use his inside voice. But after seeing his awards and letters from the war, he was a tender man with a deep love for his wife and the livestock that graced his farm. This information left Harriet with a stronger knowledge of who her grandfather was, something she wished she had when he was still alive. The next morning, Harriet decided to visit the gravesite of Grandpa Fremont for better closure with the man she felt like she just met. The cemetery was just as cold and eerie as it was the day of the funeral. Her feet crunched on the dead leaves scattered between the headstones as her grandfather's grave came into focus. At first, it appeared as if the headstone had been decorated with stuffed animals and gifts of her grandfather's remembrance. But as she got closer, this was not the case. There, spread around and draped over the grandfather's headstone, was carcasses of dead animals. After a good healthy scream, Harriet called her family, and together they disposed of the animals and cleaned the grave. Many speculations arose during the family's cleanup, leading to everyone agreeing that the fake floral arrangements may have been toxic to nearby animals. With the safety of the wildlife considered, all grave decor was also removed, leaving the headstone bare. Harriet returned to the cemetery the next day, hoping to have the alone time she didn't get the day before. But once again, as she reached her grandfather's grave, she was left with another surprise. Laying on top of her grandfather's freshly cleaned grave was a dead armadillo, damaged as if it were hit by a car. She ran back to her vehicle to get her cleaning supplies, but no amount of spray could get the bloodstains off the headstone. She immediately went home and began to Google dead animals on grave sites. The information was startling. Infinite pages of ritualistic sacrifices and urban legends of cults and underground communities flooded her computer screen. Each click led Harriet to ask new questions about her grandfather. Was he in a cult that paid their respects to dead animals? Were weird teens trying to do animal sacrifices on her grandfather's grave? Or did Grandpa Fremont's love for animals transcend this mortal plane, causing roadkill to rise and walk to his final place of rest? Like most research sessions in the age of information, Harriet was left with more questions than answers, and she felt even further from the truth than before she began. With many spooky red herrings to follow up on, Harriet continued her research, continuously checking on Grandpa Fremont's grave. Within the span of 2 months, Harriet and her family cleaned more than 10 different dead animals off the monument of her grandfather. Finally, enough was enough. Whether this was any of the previous stated conspiracies or not, the Fremont family needed proof. With the permission of the cemetery, Harriet and her family placed multiple game cameras around the cemetery. It didn't take long for another dead animal to show up, prompting the family to review the tapes. What the family saw left them speechless. On the different camera feeds, Harriet watched as a gray, newer model Dodge Journey pulled up to the row of graves. The door slowly opened, revealing an old white man, disguised in a teal woman's windbreaker, sunglasses, and a gray old lady wig. The poorly disguised man reached into the back of his vehicle, pulled out a dead raccoon, and walked it directly to Grandpa Fremont's grave. Harriet ran the footage to the police, but no license plate was captured, nor was the disguise revealing enough. With a vehicle make and model identified, Harriet decided to spend more time near the cemetery in hopes of catching the devilish desecrator in the act. She read books in the parking lot, passed by any chance she had, and even chose to make the cemetery road the spot of her morning jogs. This proved to be the correct strategy. On a warm July morning, Harriet rounded the corner of the cemetery's main dirt road, allowing her a perfect view of the entrance. As she passed the last row of trees, she saw the gray Dodge Journey pulling away. Sprinting towards her grandfather's headstone, she saw exactly what she expected: another dead animal. This time, a possum was found lying on top, while 8 live babies were sitting in one of the flower vases. Harriet jumped in her car and followed the Dodge to the local Walmart neighborhood market. Pulling in and parking an inconspicuous distance away, she sat and waited for the man to exit his vehicle. By the time he finally did, he was not in the bad disguise he was in before. In fact, Harriet immediately recognized him. "It's Old Man Stroud," she said to herself, writing down his license plate number and dialing the police. She couldn't believe it. Joseph Stroud was an old farmer that owned the farm next to her grandfather's. The two always butted heads over property issues and other farm-related matters. After a lawsuit was settled between the two, Harriet and her cousins were always told to never play on Old Man Stroud's land. She always had a deep childhood fear of the man, but she never thought he was capable of something like this. Once the information was given, police cross-referenced the footage of the nearby middle school, cemetery cameras, and Walmart neighborhood market security. Comparing articles of clothing Stroud wore in Walmart with articles of the old lady disguise, it was decided that Joseph Stroud was the desecrator in question. In August of 2020, 78-year-old Bentonville, Arkansas man, Joseph Stroud, was arrested for defacing objects of public respect, a Class B felony, after placing multiple dead animals on the headstones of his deceased neighbor. Over the span of 2 months after Fred McKinney's burial, his family cleaned 16 different dead animals from his grave. Eventually, with the approval from the cemetery, the family put up cameras, catching Joseph Stroud leaving dead animals on the grave dressed as an old woman. Once identified, the McKinney family confirmed that Joseph Stroud and Fred McKinney had neighboring farms, and even had a lawsuit that they believed Stroud had lost. When police arrived at Stroud's residence, a bath towel that was stained with what appeared to be blood was seen through the back window of the Dodge Journey. When asked to come to the station to answer questions, Stroud did not ask why he was being summoned. Instead, he said, "Okay, I can head that way right now." By the conclusion of the court case in February of 2021, Stroud changed his story that he was, quote, honoring a man by repeatedly putting dead animals on his grave. Originally charged with a felony, Joseph Stroud took a plea deal, pleading guilty for a reduced sentence. Stroud received a 1-year reduced sentence with the stipulation that he pay the McKinney family $2,529 to replace the ruined, blood-stained headstone within 30 days. When the judge asked Stroud why he put dead animals on his neighbor's grave, Stroud said it was because his neighbor was a farmer who loved animals. "I done it for his behalf, to show him the animals were still here and everything like that. He just enjoyed animals and that there was more of a beauty than flowers and stuff." The judge then asked, "If you were honoring him, why would you wear a disguise and sneak in and out of the cemetery to put dead animals on the grave?" To which Stroud replied, "It was more to agitate the people looking at me and following me around. I done it to upset them because my car was there and my license tag was there and they knew it was me. I done it just to agitate them because I knew they were checking on me and stuff." The McKinney family accepted the plea deal, allowing them to replace the headstone and Joseph Stroud to visit the cemetery again, only when accompanied by someone else. According to ArkansasOnline.com, Joseph Stroud's wife was also buried in the same row as the headstone he desecrated. During the trial, Joseph was unable to visit his wife's grave. Even after all that he did, the McKinney family didn't want Joseph Stroud to miss seeing his wife's grave any longer. See what I mean? Stranger than fiction? I think a weird animal sacrifice cult seemed a bit more likely than a petty person trying to get revenge on someone who is no longer living. But hey, this is Live, Laugh, Larceny. The pettier the better is our motto here. But even this one makes me feel weird. The one thing I can really say about this, making it the perfect Halloween story, is that we have the dramatic opening of a funeral, a possibility of the supernatural, and one wild disguise that would make a pretty funny Halloween costume. So if you're looking for an easy Halloween, why not go as petty supercriminal Joseph Stroud? Wear old man overalls with a teal woman's windbreaker, white old lady wig, sunglasses, and carry around a couple stuffed animals. Not a single person would understand who you are or what you are referencing, but you'd make me smile. And that would be the best treat anyone could receive this Halloween season.
Whoa. What on earth?
I've been holding on to that for over a year.
I can see how that is a tricky one that you would want to handle with care and comedy. And I think you did fine. So not only can I not relate to the fact that this was even done, someone still was holding a grudge when they weren't even alive anymore, and then they had to go and do something so drastic like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, that all blows my mind, but the thing that really blows my mind is his whack-ass excuses that he gave in court afterwards.
Yeah. During the time of this trial, he was also trying to plead that he was getting the first signs of dementia or whatever.
Okay.
But it just didn't really line up with how he was also going 180 and saying, oh, well, I did it to honor him.
Yeah.
So when the family was like, dude, that doesn't make sense. You can't do that. The judge was like, I can't press him for lying if he's admitting to doing it. He's saying I did do it, but he's saying the reason behind it isn't because I'm mean.
Yeah.
It's almost like pleading insanity, but it's not a murder trial, so you didn't really have to go that hard.
Right.
So they were like, well, if he has dementia, I don't think he should safely be able to drive then, huh? And he accepted to give up his driver's license to get the reduced sentence on this.
Oh my God, what?
So even if he does have it, I still think obviously this was more of a petty thing, especially with the backstory.
Because they have a backstory, because there was a lawsuit even, that makes it way more tense between the neighbors. Yeah, I think it was a petty act. Like the judge said, okay, yes, leaving dead animals on somebody's grave is obviously disrespectful. So like, shut up. It was not that he loved animals.
Yeah, isn't that silly?
And B, you're coming dressed as an old woman. If you're doing it to pay respect, why would you come in an old lady wig?
Yeah, we didn't even talk about that recap. Yes, exactly. Like that is so over the top and well thought out, but also so overcorrecting that it almost draws more attention to you if somebody noticed. And there are pictures.
Good.
I might even be able to bring one up for you right now.
What in the hell? I thought it was going to be like a longer wig for some reason.
It almost looks like a George Washington wig, kind of. I don't think it has the little ponytail in the back, but it's a short white wig.
It almost looks from this picture gray, almost like a silver old woman short haircut wig. Yeah, he's wearing a windbreaker and just... I'm also offended. He's carrying this roadkill barehanded.
Yeah, kind of a gross dude. But he is a farmer, an old farmer.
This could be anyone's grandpa.
Oh, for sure.
Anyone who would look at that picture would think, that's my grandpa. And grandpas can be petty too.
Who are your family, you know?
Yeah, but my God. Maybe it is because they're farmers and they deal with animal stuff all the time and it's another level. But my God, that is petty and gross and disrespectful.
And when is enough enough?
Yeah, let the man rest in motherfucking peace.
You'll never get satisfaction of it.
I know.
That person's dead.
It's like the trial that you talked about where it was like the trial and it was someone who was dead.
They put the dead priest on trial,
Yeah, and it's like, this is honestly a little embarrassing that you're having to do this to someone who's dead.
So you can see why I changed the name. I know you haven't seen the movie Hereditary.
Yeah.
But this gave me very strong Hereditary vibes. I love these really artsy, kind of slow-paced horror movies. And I thought, wouldn't it be kind of cool if for Halloween I could do my idea of a slow-paced horror movie like this and have that Hereditary feeling of like, what does my family lineage hide sort of thing.
Yeah.
So I had to kind of have the speculation of, oh, well, are we haunted? Is this a cult thing?
For sure. I'm definitely picking up that vibe. That was definitely one that I was like, where the hell is this going? Why? But I guess we'll really never fully know why.
The story itself was already good, even without the disguise thing, but the disguise just icing on the cake.
Dude, that is so... That's wild. I cannot believe there are humans in the world that are just going on about their lives, wearing wigs, carrying roadkill to someone's grave.
It's wild.
Go home and watch Jeopardy or something. I don't know. We will definitely have a few things in common with our stories, but luckily, Trevin, our dreadful dilemmas are where, our mindset overlap stops. So I think mine's different enough.
We've been slowly forking apart all episodes.
I feel you drifting away. So I also have a story from the news. And again, it is a continuation of this spooky month. We talked about this. I believe it was just the last episode that we're going to do the 3 in a row. Okay, so we're continuing on with our spooky stories. And that's really all I have to say about that.
I will prepare myself for fright.
And here we go. Holidays have an eerie way of connecting a community, especially around Halloween time. There are pet costume contests, pumpkin art exhibits, and theatrical haunted houses constructed to entertain and terrify the neighborhood kids. But what if your community's way of celebrating was diminished by a petty criminal? What if the Halloween spirit itself was stolen from your area? The story I'll be sharing today is about a community that went through this very real and specific tragedy that I speak of. So warm up with a sip of your pumpkin-flavored beverage as I tell you all a story that will absolutely chill you to the bone. Shannon McKibben loved Halloween. She loved it so much that she was born on Halloween Day almost 3 decades ago. Naturally, the holiday became her favorite. Each year, Shannon put extra care into her costumes and transformed her regular home into a hocus-pocus-themed dwelling. But in the year of 2022, she wanted to kick things up a notch. She needed a showstopper, a jaw-dropper, a conversation starter.
Holy shit, that's cool.
Shannon needed a 12-foot decorative skeleton from Home Depot. Luckily, Shannon's husband wasn't only on board with them purchasing the giant bony structure, but even giddy about it.
Yes, please.
A few hours and $400 later, the couple had purchased and assembled the looming skeleton in their front yard. It had taken much more effort than Shannon had originally thought it would, drilling, lifting up, then weighing down the exaggerated bones. But looking up at the completed skeleton, standing in front of their home with glowing light-up eyes, it made it all worth it. "I'm gonna name you Skelly," Shannon stated, as she playfully spanked the skeleton's bony butt. Skelly was a hit at Halloween, blowing the little minds of all the trick-or-treaters who stopped by. But they weren't the only ones impressed with the enormous Halloween prop. Cars would honk as they passed, the mailman chuckled every time he delivered packages, and the neighborhood dogs all tried to claim it with their pee. Shannon didn't have the heart or energy to take Skelly down at the end of spooky season. After all, the skeleton had brought joy to so many people. Plus, just the thought of moving the heavy cinder blocks that weighed Skelly down caused Shannon to break out into a sweat. It was decided then and there that Skelly would remain a permanent fixture in her lawn. But even deeper than that, the skeleton became an unofficial mascot for the community. Shannon dressed Skelly up in new costumes for every major holiday of the year. Come Christmas time, Skelly sported a Santa hat and beard while holding a large candy cane and personalized stocking. On Valentine's Day, Skelly flirted with the audience, wearing a bright red tutu and romantic sash, holding a sign stating the undeniable phrase, "Be mine." And luck surely didn't run out on St. Patrick's Day, with Skelly dressed as a leprechaun and sprouting a ginger beard. Everyone adored Skelly. However, this adoration caused some in the neighborhood to want the 12-foot skeleton all to themselves. The only hoodlums evil enough to actually admit this desire were 2 teen boys living down the block, Marty and Murphy. The boys regularly talked about stealing the beloved skeleton, but it remained a joke until late one drunken night in August. Both Marty and Murphy were 12 beers deep and still chugging when Marty spewed his out. "I'm tired of always talking and never walking, Murphy. Tonight's the night we steal that big-ass skeleton, my man." Marty shouted towards his friend. "Let's make that skeleton our bitch," Murphy said in agreement. They hopped into Marty's hatchback SUV and aggressively drove down the street and onto Shannon's yard. Murphy hopped out of the vehicle, attaching rope to both of Skelly's femurs. Once finished, he opened up the trunk of the hatchback and sat inside. "Go!" Murphy shouted, letting Marty know it was time to drive. The acceleration of the vehicle yanked Skelly forward, causing the skeleton to faceplant into the hard ground. As the two boys continued speeding down the road, Skelly trailed behind them, dragging its cinder-blocked feet the whole way. In August of 2022, a 12-foot skeleton was stolen and dragged from a yard in Mount Ephraim, New Jersey. The skeleton, named Skelly, belonged to Shannon McKibben and her husband, who bought it for close to $400. The skeleton was a purchase made to celebrate both Halloween and Shannon's birthday, which fall on the same date. What started as a Halloween prop became a beloved fixture in Shannon's neighborhood and was deemed their unofficial mascot by many. Skelly was decorated for other holidays throughout the year, including 4th of July, Christmas, Valentine's Day, St. Patrick's Day, and Easter. The theft was captured on the McKibben security footage, showing the thieves attaching the rope to the skeleton and driving off with it. The damage included broken lawn chairs, a neighbor's car getting scratched up, and the collective broken hearts of the locals. Police gave credit to the community for finding the perps who committed this heinous crime. The last update given online stated that one unnamed person was charged with 2 counts of criminal mischief and 1 count of theft. This eerie time of year, it is important to immerse yourself in your area's festivities, whether it's shooting off pumpkin cannons or bobbing for apples. I urge you to dive in face first, because no stolen good is more valuable than the Halloween spirit itself.
Wow. I really wonder what their actual motives were.
There was only one news station, okay, it was a local one that was covering this, so I did want to give them a shout out. Thank you to Fox 29 Philadelphia News.
Get it, Fox.
But they had a really good video, and then they had a really good article. But I actually didn't say, I meant to put that in there. Dang it.
Well, in the story, you said they were drunk.
Yeah, but I meant to put in there that they actually found some of the bones, and they returned a couple of the bones to Shannon. I totally forgot to put that detail in there, but they did credit the community. The community rallied around, and they found the perpetrators. In the security footage, it does look like there are 2 people, obviously, because one of them was tying the stuff around Skelly's femur bone and getting in the trunk and then saying go, and someone was driving, right? So I don't know if they only charged the person that actually tied the rope around the skeleton or if they just hadn't charged the getaway driver at the time. I don't know. There wasn't anything updated afterwards, obviously, but at the time, only one person was charged with that.
Interesting.
I also wanted to say that I wrote this entire story calling the skeleton Skelly before I even knew, and I didn't even see this in the article. I didn't notice it in the interview with Shannon. Nobody said it or anything, okay? It wasn't written. But in one of the pictures that they showed in the video of the news story of Skelly and all the different costumes, the Christmas one, Skelly has a personalized stocking that says Skelly on it.
Oh, that's cute.
And the reason I even called it Skelly, I mean, obviously that's a common name to call a skeleton.
Correct.
But that's what my daughter calls one of our Halloween skeletons.
Oh, nice.
So I was just like, oh, Skelly. That's what Lila calls it. So I just thought it was really funny. It's not like I'm an intuitive genius. It's Skelly, but I just thought it was funny that it was actually named that.
If I had one, I don't even think I'd name it. I would just be like, yeah, it's my crazy little skeleton guy.
Right. Yeah, it was named Skelly, so I thought that was cute. Also, it didn't say anyone's name. None of the perpetrators' names were given. Shannon's husband's name wasn't given, so I didn't write him having a name. I just called him Shannon's husband. But she seemed like a really cool gal in her interview, just trying to enjoy Halloween and live it up.
Maybe we can tag her.
Ooh, that would be epic if we could find her.
Yeah, we haven't done that in a while.
She was just trying to live it up. Her birthday's on Halloween. They were probably intoxicated. We can assume they just wanted the skeleton to themselves. Maybe they were just being little shits and wanted to destroy property. I don't know.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking. Like, I didn't know if it was people who thought I want a big ass skeleton or if it was this skeleton's really known in the community. Like, I kind of just want to ruin this person's day.
And the way that they only were able to bring back some of the bones and the fact that it caused a lot of damage, it scratched a neighbor's car, it cinder blocks flinging around, it kind of sounds like they weren't trying to take TLC with this thing to hang it back up.
That's a good point, yeah.
And also, I don't know if they lived just down the block. I don't know their names or their backstory at all, but I assumed it was someone who had seen it enough to know.
Sounds like somebody with chaos in their hearts. Sick animals.
Because they weren't going to prop it back up,
No
right?
way.
And then everyone would be like, what the fuck is Skelly doing in your yard?
Yeah, good chance they probably were just going to wreck it and not even hold on to most of the pieces.
That's my guess on what the motivation was. But again, sometimes people just do really dumb shit with not really a thought in the world of why.
That's true. We see it every day here.
That we do. Oh, actually, she must have an Instagram. I mean, she's probably posting those pictures of Skelly.
That's what I was thinking.
It showed all those, and I made sure to screenshot them all so I could post them because Skelly is so cute. I mean, they went above and beyond with the decorations, and I just think that's so cool.
Yeah, I love the idea.
My parents, they had a neighbor that had a 12-foot skeleton, and Lila loved it. And it was only up for one Halloween, and then they kept it up for like months afterwards. And I was like, why don't they just start decorating it for each and every holiday?
Right.
But instead, they just let it sit there, and then it eventually fell over, and they let it sit there for more and more months. And then now it's not even up this Halloween time. They probably just got ruined, I guess. I don't know. So, connections, Trevin. We both talk about creatures of the dead.
Yeah, creatures of the dead, carcasses, I guess.
Yeah.
I want to say there was something about our build-up or characters too, but now I can't remember.
Oh, damn. Yeah, I feel like there was something. So if the listeners hear it, this would be a good one. Reach out to us on social media and tell us what you think the connection is this week. I mean, obviously, we both had skeletons mentioned, just in totally different ways. Yours was a real one.
Yeah, and you brought up to me in one of our little quick stops in the middle of the story that we both called back old names.
Oh, yeah, that's true. One at Tony and Marty made an appearance on both. Because I don't usually talk about Marty that much, but he needed to be mentioned in this week's. It seemed like a very Marty thing to do.
Yeah, I don't think he was going to be in my main Halloween finale, so that's good.
Good. Well, what a time. I hope everyone is just getting such in the Halloween spirit. And I know we've done a few spooky stories now just for the month of October, but you bet your ass that next week is going to be the actual Halloween special. And I think it's going to be great.
And I may just make a believer out of all of you on the supernatural.
Oh my God. Well, hope everyone has a great week. And just remember, no matter the crime, big or small, in the end, we're all doomed.
Doomed to watch Naked Attraction again tonight.
You know it. Bye.
See ya.
Thanks for fitting us into your listening schedule, along with The Golden Bachelor and Naked Attraction.
And do you have any cute, festive, or fun pictures of you in a corn maze? Share it to us on our social medias, Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, or Threads. Live, Laugh, Larceny.
And if you have ever owned a 12-foot skeleton, please send us your petty crime story. I know there's got to be something petty about having one of those. livelaughlarceny@gmail.com.
Rate us the opposite of what you'd give Old Man Stroud's disguise. This guy's a chump. Give us 5 stars wherever you rate podcasts, Spotify, Good Pods, or Apple.
Luckily, Shannon's husband wasn't only on board with them purchasing the Giny bone. The Giny? Did I say the Giny?
I hope you did. Giny bones. The neck bone's connected to the
Giny bone. Remix.
Ending clip.